it's a very common denominator against, when it comes to the best corners in the league, the very best corners. They all have plus length in terms of 31 inches at least, and we're talking about a guy here in Trent that's sub 29. So he's just not checking that box, but my goodness, watch him play, and you really love everything that he brings to the table.
Trent McDuffie, defensive back, Washington Huskies, 5'1", 193, 29 3/4 on the arms, verified 4.44 at the NFL Combine. This is a player for us that carries a high 2 valuation, fringe first round grade, fringe top 32 type of player. Dre, we know that the length question is going to exist for Trent McDuffie, and you're very qualified to talk about playing the defensive back positions because you have experience doing that yourself. So talk a little bit, if you can, about Trent McDuffie, his game, what he does that could possibly help him circumvent that question about his length and the lack of length that he does have.
Yeah, Trent has outstanding reactive quickness, right? I think that's the first thing you notice on tape. He's got great footwork, and his feet puts himself in position to make plays. He's always in phase, right? So he is good from that standpoint, and he is in the mode, of guys that they've had in years past that he can play inside and outside, and has proven that, right? And that's rare too as well. So there's a lot to like about him. He's got great instincts. He really closes well and off. He can play press. He's not going to be a hard press guy due to the length, but if you put him in the right place, I think that he'll continue to ascend. But he's someone, again, that has some inside and outside flex, and can certainly be a contributor, at least in sub, from day one.
Let's talk about what that right environment looks like for Trent. When you guys think about what he does well, where he needs to be, what role he needs to fill, a lot of guys here at the table and standing up here. What opinions do we have?
Go ahead, Joe.
I think Trent can. I don't really feel like there's any limitations with what you can ask him to do in coverage. I mean, I think he's good in press. I think he's good in off man. I think he's phenomenal in zone, and he's a guy that I just fully trust in those different roles, because you can tell, like Dre said, he's just always in phase, and I think that stems from obviously his athletic profile, but also how he talks about his preparation process for getting ready for games. I just feel like he's really well prepared and understands the mental aspect of playing the position, where he knows and understands different alignments and splits and understands what route combinations are coming and anticipates them, and he takes stuff off the menu. And so he didn't get a ton of targets his way, but that's because he takes away so many different throws that just don't happen because the quarterback has to move on in their progression. Love how he tackles. I mean, he might be one of the best tackling DBs in this entire class. And so the temperament and the coverage versatility is really, really phenomenal. Now, the thing that we have to talk about is that, the length is absolutely missing from his profile. And, there's a really interesting stat that we've uncovered here recently where since 2010, there hasn't been an all-pro cornerback that has sub 31-inch arms. And in fact, only 3 had less than 31.5, right? So it's a very common denominator against, when it comes to the best corners in the league, the very best corners. They all have plus length in terms of 31 inches at least, and we're talking about a guy here in Trent that's sub 29. So he's just not checking that box, but my goodness, watch him play, and you really love everything that he brings to the table.
I think that if you're going to have a corner who does not have length, you would hope that he has the hips, the mirror, and the footwork to be able to stay in phase, so he's always close, right? So the thing that length does is that even if you're not close, if you're beaten by a step, length helps you to close that separation sum. So if you don't have length, you should certainly have the footwork and hips to be able to stay in phase, and he has that.
Right. Do we feel like there's any, in case of emergency, break glass and push him into the? You think guys think he can play safety?
I think so.
I think he could, but I don't think. I think it's a waste.
Yeah.
Well, it's in case of emergency.
In case of emergency, sure. So to answer your question, yes. In case of emergency, I think he could be a Pro Bowl caliber type of safety. He has those type of instincts, that footwork, that explosiveness to come downhill. He has the ball skills. He'll have the range.
Route recognition.
Exactly. Anticipation. So he has all those things to be a safety. Yeah. But, you value corners better, and ultimately he's a damn good corner. And really, for me, it's the competitiveness, and I don't want to say what everyone already said, but I think it has to be echoed. His foot quickness and ability to mirror in transition is outstanding. That's to me, I think it might be one of the best in this class. Quite honest with you guys. And also for me, he's just, the guy's a football player. You see him, the instincts to try to punch the ball out, and he has multiple forced fumbles, and just the awareness to be able to do that. Like, that's something you can't coach. You got it. You got it or you don't. He has it in spades, and so I love this player. I don't think there's anything he can't do. Yes, I wish his arms were longer, but at the end of the day, he's just a very, very clean prospect.
Yeah, I don't try to move him to safety, and this is a guy that I feel like he's flying under the radar as far as versatility and his value. And I've seen this at my time at LSU, and that was with cornerback Tre'Davious White. I think when you talk the similar things as far as them having inside-outside versatility, very smart football players, instinctual foot quickness, can mirror, similar athletic profiles, right? And I think Tre'Davious White, he went in the late 20s. 27 to the Buffalo Bills because it was underappreciated at the time and at the moment. But these are just flat out good football players, and like Brentley said, it jumps off the film that this dude just flat out plays football. So I think you can't undervalue that.
I don't want to gloss over how quickly Gio responded with what number Davis White was.
His Bills.
What color socks was he wearing?
Red, blue, and white.
He's ready for the moment.
Trent McDuffie, phenomenal football player, and I'm glad that we kind of got to that versatility conversation with him, because I think he's one of those players that it doesn't matter, I think, what kind of system you run, what kind of need you have. I think he can fill a role for everybody. It just might not be the same role for everybody across the board, and that's why we still have him very highly coveted despite some of the non-traditionals on his draft resume.
Some more you can do, league.
Amen.